Hi and welcome to Captain Jim TV. Today we'll be looking at the different paint options for the URSA Medivac, affectionately known as the URSA, a great vehicle that launched at Invictus and has a lot of interesting uses including mobile respawn point. But first, let's roll the intro. The URSA Medivac opens up a lot of medical gameplay and the ability to heal players and get them back into the fight quickly, but thanks to the upgraded ability for all medbeds to allow for respawning, it also offers you a mobile spawn point. Heck, if you stick this in the back of a Drake Corsair, you start to open up feasible exploration gameplay, essentially giving you a pirate carrack. You can also park it outside a bunker or a distribution centre, but more about that later. So, let's look at the paints. The standard paint is a dull red and does a great job of clearly communicating medical vehicle. But what other options are available if you want to mix things up? Let's start with the URSA Oasis paint, the green variant. If you saw my video on how to look like a medic, where I spent 400,000 AUEC on armour to find the best medic recipe in the verse, you'll know that I call out red and green as the best colours to signal ambulance crews and medical aid. If you didn't, I linked it in the description, so go check it out and get the full recipes. I also feature those outfits in this video, as well as a new blue version. More on that later. This paint is a great option and definitely supports the medical feel. As you'll see in a second, when I put it next to my green medic outfit, I realised just how sea green this green actually is. To theme with it, you actually need the sea green variations of the armour in my recipe, but more than that, I actually think this tone of green isn't as strong a medical green as more pure green options. Here, you see them next to each other, you'll see what I mean. Actually, seeing them side by side right now, I've gone off this option of paint in favour of the blue paint. Speaking of the blue version, here is the URSA Aja paint. So I initially wrote this paint off when I first saw it as not medical enough. When I think of blue vehicles like this, I think of police vehicles or electricians. But having spent some time with it, and having now created a strong matching blue medic armour recipe, I actually get a really strong medical feel from the two together. And I have to say, I think if I was going out to do some URSA ambulance medical gameplay, it would be a close call between this and the red paint. When I was making the medic armour recipe, I really wanted to be able to use the Morozov SH legs because I found the padded fabric and the design had a very medical feel. But the colours of that armour set are very limited. The red and white are really a very dull maroon, and the snow one is kind of really grey. But in a blue armour recipe, the blue coloured Morozov legs work really well, and I really like it. So the blue paint for me is now on the vehicle. It is a real contender. And just look at these two. They go together so well. You can also see here those Morozov legs have a great medical feel to them. There is, however, one more option of paints for the URSA Medivac, and let's have a look at it now. It's the URSA Respite Paint. Now, this paint is technically a Chairman's Club paint, but I see this paint as having a really useful, practical application. But why? Because this is the URSA Ninja Paint. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, it's not just for looking cool and being on the dark side of the Force, but it's also because of how I think a lot of players are going to use the URSA Medivac. Yes, a lot of players will use the URSA for medical gameplay, but an awful lot will be using it at bunkers and distribution centres as a mobile spawn point. And if you're one of those players, this is the paint for you. It's essentially the stealth option. So I wanted to test this theory out, so I loaded the URSA up into my Drake Corsair and headed over to a distribution centre at night. I just want to take a moment to call out the new Drake Corsair Dying Star paint. The military feel khaki brown covered in graffiti. It just looks so awesome parked at this distribution centre. I have a whole video on this paint and the Drake Vulture version as well. Check it out via the link in the description. So let's get the Respite Paint URSA out of the Corsair and see how it blends in around the centre. I actually felt that even parked right out in the open on a ramp under a spotlight, it blended in pretty well. Certainly not eye-catching, and this is really not a stealthy parking spot. But I think people will just run past it. But what about if we go as stealthy as we can and find a dark, unlit, out-of-the-way corner? Well, here we go. And to be honest with you, I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, good luck finding this if you don't have a marker on your HUD. And that's what we want, because if you don't want people easily spotting and camping your spawn point, which, let's be honest, could have a lot of benefits, then a black painted vehicle parked up in a dark corner or hidden at night is going to be hard to see and hard to find. So there we have it, 4 paints, 2 medical options, 1 stealth spawn point option, and 1 surprisingly fun, kind of cool blue one. Which one are you going to get and use? Let me know in the comments. Whichever it is, have fun in the verse using the Medivac. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It'll help get more people to make use of the content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the verse.